So here's the thing. There's something Daniel said in his interview that's red flag, like freaking maroon flag. It's so red, it's fucking burgundy. He said, don't attack Malaya. Don't attack Malaya because it's going to be reflected on her daughter. Her daughter. Not our daughter, her daughter. What's going to be reflected? What's going to happen if you attack Malaya? So, in one sense, he's protecting her, but in another sense, he's basically throwing her under the bus because he's letting you know. He says, you know. No, we don't know. We don't know. What will happen if you attack Malaya? What are you trying to say? He says it twice. He says then again, and I quote, so I don't want anyone attacking Malaya. Now that I think about it, could he have been saying this to Malaya? Don't attack Lilly. Don't attack Jack. It's crazy because I don't know if they're alive. I don't know if something happened that morning, if an accident happened and they're alive. That's how I feel. But then there's other things I pick up on their statements that lead me to believe that they're still alive and they know it. The fact that she doesn't even shed a tear for them. You know, like, shh. But then again, you know, people are just fucking evil. They just don't give a shit, right? So, Jack and Lilly, they, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna stop updating you guys with what's going on. Obviously, nothing's been going on. There's some text messages from Daniel, but I'm not gonna share them because I don't know where they're coming from. It could be anyone. Anyone can just freaking Photoshop text messages together. I'm not just gonna run with it. That's all I wanted to say. And in my intro, I spoke on Travis Decker and the three girls, Peyton, Olivia, Evelyn, God rest their souls. I spoke on how I can't even imagine those girls, man. They probably thought the world of their father. You know, my dad fought in the army. My dad's a hero. They thought they. I'm just saying, they may have thought the world of their father. To die in the hands of your own father, man. Something else I mentioned was mental health. I know that's huge. You know, it's a big problem, but there's no excuse. There just isn't no excuse for the death of those beautiful girls. It's just sickening. It's sickening. Thanks for watching, guys. And comment, share your thoughts. Thank you. So I'm going to play that video for you guys now. And I also wanted to apologize. I'm a little stuffy. Allergies. I have allergies all the time because I have dogs and I'm allergic to them, but I love them so much. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Don't attack Malaya because her mental health is, you know, it's going to be reflected on her daughter. So
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, guys? I'm sorry. I know you guys hate when I stop this, but I just want to say what's crazy is that this was the part that I was just talking about. And you guys are like telling me, there's people commenting on my videos saying that I'm just taking other creators' opinion. No, I'm not. I'm not taking other creators' opinion. Do you know how many people actually are thinking what I am thinking? These people here, this is exactly the part I was talking about. Watch. Look what he says.
Don't attack Malaya because her mental health is, it's going to be reflected on our daughter, so I don't want anyone tackling Malaya anymore.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time.
Every day when I wake up, it feels like I'm reliving a nightmare of May 2nd.
Follow these guys. They're good.
On the morning of May 2nd, 2 children vanished into the dense woods of Nova Scotia. Lilly, age 6, and her 4-year-old brother Jack. Their disappearance triggered a massive search effort, desperate prayers, and a flood of unanswered questions. But beneath the surface of official statements and community vigils, something else has been stirring. Something quieter and more unsettling. What if Daniel Martell, the man who searched the woods, gave interviews and pleaded for calm, wasn't hiding his own guilt, but someone else's? What if the truth about what happened that morning isn't buried in deception, but in misplaced protection? This episode explores a hypothesis no one wants to believe, yet one that refuses to be ignored. It does not accuse, it does not convict, but it asks you to look closer, because until Lilly and Jack are found, everyone remains a suspect, including the one who may have stayed silent for love. May 2nd began like any other, but within a matter of hours, it would become a date etched in dread. At 6:17 a.m., a call was made to the school. Lilly and Jack were homesick. Their mother was awake, alert enough to excuse them. But if she was up, how did she not hear the back door?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how true that statement is about calling the school at 6 a.m. I have not read or heard that anywhere, so I would take that with a grain of salt. Is the school even open at 6 a.m.? Was there an email sent? Was there a message left? We don't know that information yet. I'm sure investigators have all of these things, but we don't know this.
Later claimed made no sound at all. Between 8 a.m. and 9:40 a.m., the stories begin to fracture. Daniel Martell says he saw Lilly entering and exiting the bedroom multiple times. But Malaya recalls something else entirely, a suffocating quiet. Not the kind that brings peace, but the kind that chills you to the bone. By all accounts, Daniel was a quiet man. He worked part-time, just 1 day a week, at a local lumber mill. Financially unstable.
Wait. See, wait. This is exactly what I needed.
Quiet man. He worked part-time, just 1 day a week.
1 day a week.
Financially unstable, socially withdrawn, and according to some,
How?
quiet.
Tell me how. How is that possible, working 1 day a week when you have 5 kids? What is going on here? They were both sleeping that morning. They weren't getting ready to go to work. What is going on?
Controlling. He wasn't the kind of figure you noticed in a crowd. But in the aftermath of Lilly and Jack Sullivan's disappearance, he became someone no one could ignore.
Look at her eyes. How beautiful.
Daniel appeared cooperative, while the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, retreated from the public eye. Daniel stepped forward. He gave interviews. He talked to media. He walked the camera crews through the moments before the children vanished. And at first glance, his transparency seemed like innocence. But look closer, and cracks begin to form. Daniel's speech patterns betray a man both rehearsed and conflicted. In nearly every public statement, he echoes Malachia's phrases, sometimes almost word for word, a linguistic reflection that suggests either deep alignment or prearranged storytelling. When he describes Lilly, he uses the past tense. She liked girly things. A phrase simple enough, but weighted with implication. Why speak of your stepdaughter in past tense if you still believe she's alive? Even more curious is Daniel's tendency to speak in collective terms. We realized the house was too quiet. Not I realized, not she realized. The use of we obscures accountability, diffuses ownership of events. This shared language might hint at solidarity with Malaya, or at a coordinated effort to protect a version of events. Daniel often centers himself in the narrative. His throat was sore. He ran through the woods. He searched for hours.
It's always about what
sure
he
know
did.
how far he went and how hard he tried.
Like, what are you trying to prove, Daniel?
We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods over the head of the
What are you trying to
helicopters and head of
prove?
the drones and stuff like that, screaming as loud as I can, and just until my throat hurt, running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
Oh my God,
But
he's
the
not even
focus
crying about the
rarely stays
kids.
on Lilly.
Oh my God, that fake cry. That's not even about for the kids. That cry was about him. Oh my God.
In Jack. Instead, it circles back to him, his experience, his effort, his pain. He even claimed to have passed a polygraph test, but the RCMP never confirmed this.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor, we'll say that.
No documentation, no.
Notice how he didn't say he passed. It's like a simple I passed or didn't pass. He said the results will go in his favor.
Lie, it was a bold one. If it was true, why no official acknowledgement? What changed? On May 3rd, Malachia's mother arrived, and from that moment, things began to shift. Daniel's tone altered. His narrative evolved. Was there a prior agreement, a shared story and understanding that began to unravel under new influence? Some believe so. One telling moment came in a now deleted live stream where Daniel's cousin defended him.
I don't know how true this live stream business is with the cousin, the text messages, yada yada. That's why I haven't posted anything relating to that information.
Sudden redirection felt less like clarity and more like strategy. An attempt to rally sympathy for Daniel while painting Malaya as unstable, possibly even dangerous. There are signs Daniel may not be the perpetrator. He's visible, he's vocal, he's seemingly open to questioning. But is that transparency or is it deflection? Could it be that he's protecting someone? Could it be that silence isn't just absence? It's loyalty. His language holds more clues. He frequently uses passive constructions. If someone took them, instead of if they were taken, it creates distance. It removes agency. It avoids commitment to any one theory while subtly implying abduction. His tone changed. Accusatory. Self-defensive. He leaked messages blaming her for not watching the kids. Publicly stated he feared for Meadow's safety.
Don't attack Malaya, because her mental health is, It's going to be reflected on our daughter, so I don't want anyone attacking Malaya anymore.
And while he still
See?
pleaded with the public to stop attacking Malaya, he did so with caveats, as if protecting her only to protect himself. Perhaps Daniel Martell isn't guilty of harming Lilly and Jack, but guilt isn't always about action. Sometimes it's about inaction, about what you knew and when, about what you said or didn't say, when the truth could have changed everything. The more you listen to Daniel, the more you realize he might be speaking from inside a broken pact. Cross. According to her account, the children walked out the back door sometime around 9:30 a.m. She said the door was silent, that she didn't hear it. She claimed she thought they were still resting. But earlier that same morning, she had already informed the school the children were sick and would be staying home. If she knew they were home,
She looks
why
so
hadn't
cute
she
there.
seen them?
She looks so cute. I don't know how true this is about Malaya calling the school at 6 a.m. I need to dig and see how true this is, because if that is true, that she woke up at 6 and called the school to tell the school the kids will not be going in, how do you do that without even checking on them? Like, you're not gonna check on them first? What? That doesn't make sense. That's not adding up.
But perhaps the most chilling moment came not in what she said, but in how quickly she said it. Within 48 hours of the disappearance, Malaya was calling her children angels, a word that parents usually avoid at all costs, unless they've reached the unthinkable conclusion. For most, it's a word reserved for memorials, a word spoken in whispers, months, sometimes years, after closure. But for Malaya, it came immediately, almost rehearsed, as if grief had skipped denial entirely and landed somewhere far more practiced. And then came another shift. I believe they were taken, she later said. But there was no evidence to support it, no vehicle seen, no footprints leading to a road, no tire tracks, no screams, nothing, just a theory, tossed into the public with no follow-up, no appeal, no tears. From the outside, Daniel Martell appeared shattered. He cried on interviews, begged the public to stop attacking Malaya Brooks Murray, and repeatedly claimed the happiest time of his life was when she and the children were still by his side. But behind the emotional appeals and filtered recollections, something didn't add up. He wasn't just defending her, he was shielding her. And as more details emerge, the question becomes impossible to ignore. Why? There were already signs that Malaya was struggling. 3 young children, reports of an unstable environment, and a possible history of postpartum depression or dissociation. If that's true, if something heartbreaking happened in the grip of a breakdown, Daniel may have found himself trapped between 2 impossible roles, protector and witness. In this theory, his silence wasn't complicity. It was paralysis. And in the hours before Malaya's mother arrived, he may have been desperately trying to hold a narrative together that neither of them could live with. Then came the shift. After the arrival of Malaya's mother on May 2nd, everything changed. Daniel's tone pivoted. The messages began to shift blame. Suddenly, he leaked texts accusing Malaya of negligence, said the children were wild under her care, a stunning reversal from the man who had just days earlier pleaded
I'm gonna
with the
fast forward
internet to
this
stop
part
harassing
because
her.
I don't know how
It
true the
raised
text
a
messages
haunting
are.
possibility, a postpartum crisis and a panicked cover-up. It begins with a woman on the edge. By all accounts, Malahia was exhausted, raising 3 young children in an unstable environment with mounting psychological strain. There were whispers of postpartum depression, maybe even dissociation.
Yeah, but hurting two babies?
Something snaps.
Oh.
The kids are being loud, perhaps unruly, and in a moment of overwhelming emotion, a tragic mistake is made. Not premeditated, but irreversible. The parallels are chillingly familiar. In the John Benet Ramsey case, one theory suggested that the 6-year-old's death was accidental, a fatal head injury during a fit of parental anger or carelessness, followed by a staged ransom note and a misdirection campaign. Could something similar have happened here? If Malahia harmed the children, intentionally or not, Daniel may have walked in on the aftermath. And in that moment, he didn't call the police. He didn't tell the truth. He chose to protect her. Whether out of love, fear, or pure panic, the silence began. And once it started, it became impossible to reverse. They couldn't admit. The forest surrounding the home is dense and disorienting. Ponds and creeks thread through the underbrush. In one of his interviews, Daniel uses the phrase, dive into. A slip of the tongue, perhaps, but one that raises suspicion. Could water have played a role? Another theory suggests that something tragic but unintentional happened to Lilly and Jack. A drowning, an injury, or more disturbingly, a drug-related incident. Rumors swirled early on about suspicious activity at the home, unusual traffic, alleged parties, whispers of drug use. Daniel later denied any such events occurred, but if an accidental overdose or exposure was involved, it would explain a rushed and
I still can't get over this. I can't get over that. What happened? Like, is anyone not noticing this? What?
response. Under this theory, both Daniel and Malahia are complicit, not in causing the accident, but in hiding it. A joint decision to stage the scene, to mislead police, to begin a search for children they already knew would not be found. Not because they were taken, but because they were gone.
Yeah.
Theory C, a pact broken by a third party. Perhaps there was a plan, a story rehearsed, a cover-up built on mutual silence. But then, something changed. On the afternoon of May 2nd, Malahia's mother arrived. And shortly after that, the tone shifted. Communication between Malahia and the children's paternal grandmother stopped abruptly.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think happened?
Evolved. He leaked messages suggesting neglect. Subtle blame began to surface. This shift may indicate that a fragile pact was broken, that Malahia, under her mother's influence, changed the narrative or refused to maintain the lie. And Daniel, now exposed, began repositioning himself, not as the partner of a grieving mother, but as a father trying to keep custody of his youngest child. A man who once said he was happiest with Malahia, now blocked from contact. His loyalty replaced with subtle self-preservation. Each theory is incomplete on its own, but in the silence that followed, whether born from panic, guilt, or emotional codependence, the actions of those closest to Lilly and Jack may have buried more than just the truth.
Alright, so if you want to listen more, I'm not going to play the whole thing. Like, just go to his channel. Plus, people don't like my commentary anyway on here. So, again, the channel is called True Crime Stories Hour. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Bye.